Some updated rankings after some more free agency moves right now on FFT and 5. All right, it's Adam and Dave here. So, Dave, let's rank Aaron Jones, Austin Ekeler, Brian Robinson, and both Bengals running backs, Zack Moss and Chase Brown. How would you rank those 5?
I don't love any of these 5, and I'm thinking late round 6 or later in all of them. Robinson's at the top of the list, but I don't love it. I'd like some more clarity on the Bengals running back situation. I'm scared it's going to be a tough duo between Brown and Moss. We're not going to know which one to start week in and week out. I'll put one of them ahead of Aaron Jones for now, Moss. Jones next, Brown after that. And then, did you say Eckler's name?
Yeah, Ekeler and Brian Robinson are the other two.
Yeah, no, Robinson's at the top, Eckler's at the bottom.
Eckler's at the bottom. Wow.
I'm not feeling it with Austin Ekeler. Going back to being a part-time back, worse offense in Washington. You and I watched clips of him before we started podcasting today. It looks like he's lost a step, if not 2 steps, depending on which point of the season you're watching him. He's going to say he's healthier. Maybe the training camp reports will be glowing and maybe he'll get a better opportunity than we think. But for now, I feel like if I'm drafting Austin Ekeler, I'm doing it based on name and not game.
I disagree with you, though, on your thoughts on his big run against the Dolphins, his 55-yard run against the Dolphins.
Compare that run to some of his big runs in 2022 and tell me he's running at the same speed.
I guess but he was being contacted. That's the thing. Like he kind of,
he broke away from he ran away from the safeties and they caught up to him. 3 different defenders on his best run of the year.
But it wasn't like he cleanly ran away from them, is what I'm saying. Is that he took on some contact and
he did, and then he got away from them.
A lot of running backs
couldn't accelerate.
Well, he has to be.
This happens to guys when they get older in the NFL.
I know, but what my point when I showed you the clips was how much better did he look in week 1 than after his ankle injury, because he was
and now I'm telling you, compare him to week 1 of 2023 to week 1 of 2022.
All right. Well, anyway, so you like what do you like about Brian Robinson here? Because Antonio Gibson only had about 4 carries per game last season. You figure Ekeler would get more than that. There's no way Robinson's going to be the 3rd down back as long as Eckler's healthy. So what do you like about Brian Robinson?
I like that he had 13.8 PPR points per game in the 8 games that he had at least 13 touches in. He also got off to a strong start, 14 PPR points per game in his first 6. So maybe that's something there. I don't think he can be much better than that, but I still think that that's good enough to call an RB2.
Okay. How do you feel about Justin Jefferson now that Sam Darnold is in the fold?
Still like him. Still think of him as a 1st-round pick, but not as a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, or wide receiver 3. I've got him at wide receiver 4. And apparently I'm too low on Jamar Chase, according to our audience on the main show.
Yeah. And I think as I'm looking at updated Twitter poll results, 33% of the people I asked, it's Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1/3 are saying wide receiver 4. It's pretty close between 1, 2, and 3, and even between 2 and 4, basically. So there's not going to be a consensus here.
That's weird that it would be close between 2 and 4, but not 3 and 4.
Yeah, wide receiver 4 is 33% of the vote. Wide receiver 2, 26.2%. Wide receiver 1, 21.9%. Wide receiver 3, 18.9%. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, Dave. But that's going to be, people are going to have a lot of different thoughts about that because he was great with Nick Mullins. Can he be great with Sam Darnold? If it is Sam Darnold, we'll find out. And then what do you think about who's the number 3 free agent running back after Jacobs and Barkley? Who's the next one that get drafted?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Assuming he goes to the Ravens.
He could go almost anywhere. And I would think that he would be the next one drafted.
Over Pollard?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you talk about a guy who might be washed up. He's older than all these guys, Dave.
He is. And listen, you want to talk about running backs that aren't explosive. Henry isn't quite as explosive as he once was either. He's in the same boat as Ekeler there. But if he goes somewhere where he's going to get a lot of opportunities, he can pile in the touchdowns and he can still play physically.
Yeah, I wonder where Joe Mixon goes as well and how we'll feel about him. All right.
We talked about Mixon on the main show. He had some terrible metrics. You're the one that brought it up.
Awful. Just terrible.
Terrible explosive play metrics and avoided tackle metrics.
And look at his yards per carry last year before week 18. Week 18, he played, I think, Cleveland, and they were resting their starters, and he had a big game. I mean, he hasn't been a good running back. That's all there is to it. Okay, thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow, I believe, on Fantasy Football Today in 5.